Welcome to Chapter 31, Types of Sentences. In this lesson, we are going to explore how sentences are structured in English. Understanding the different types of sentences is essential for improving your writing and communication skills. We will look at 4 main types of sentences and learn how each one works, with clear examples along the way. So let us get started. So what exactly is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words, usually containing a verb, that expresses a complete thought. It can take the form of a statement, a question, an instruction, or an exclamation. And when written, it always starts with a capital letter. For example, John ate an apple. This is a simple and complete sentence. It has a subject, John, and a verb, ate, and it expresses a clear thought. There are 4 main types of sentences in English. Number 1 is the simple sentence. Number 2 is the compound sentence. Number 3 is the complex sentence. And number 4 is the compound complex sentence. Let us now go through each type, one by one, and understand what makes each of them unique. The first type is the simple sentence. A simple sentence has just one independent clause. That means it contains a subject and only one verb. It expresses a single, complete thought. Let us look at some examples. John waited for the train. Here, John is the subject and waited is the verb. The train was late. Again, one subject, the train, and one verb, was late. Mary and Alice took the bus. Even though there are 2 subjects, there is still only one verb, took. And, I looked for Mary and Alice at the station. All of these are simple sentences because each one has just one independent clause. Next we have the compound sentence. A compound sentence contains 2 or more independent clauses, and these clauses are joined together using a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions include words like and, but, or, so, and yet. Here are some examples. I really want to go to work, but I am too sick to drive. In this sentence, there are 2 independent clauses connected by the word but. John waited for the train, but the train was late. Again, 2 complete thoughts joined by but. John bought some new shoes, and he wore them to a party. Here, the conjunction and connects the 2 clauses. Mary liked her new house, but she did not like the front yard. Notice how each part of a compound sentence can stand on its own as a complete sentence. Now let us look at the complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. These clauses are connected using a subordinate conjunction such as because, when, where, before, after, and although. There are 2 ways to arrange a complex sentence. First, the independent clause can come at the beginning. For example, let us go back to the restaurant where we had our first date. Here, the independent clause is, let us go back to the restaurant, and the dependent clause is, where we had our first date. Another example, we visited the museum before it closed. An important rule to remember. When the independent clause comes first, you do not need a comma between the 2 clauses. Now let us look at the other arrangement of a complex sentence, where the dependent clause comes first. For example, because my coffee was too cold, I heated it in the microwave. Here, the dependent clause is because my coffee was too cold, and the independent clause is, I heated it in the microwave. Another example, after I came home, I made dinner. Notice that in both of these examples, there is a comma separating the dependent clause from the independent clause. Here is a quick rule to remember. If the independent clause comes first, you do not need a comma. But if the dependent clause comes first, you must use a comma. This is an important punctuation rule for complex sentences. Finally, we come to the compound complex sentence. This is the most advanced type. A compound complex sentence has 2 or more independent clauses and 1 or more dependent clauses. Essentially, it combines the features of both compound and complex sentences. Here is the first example. When a dog bites a man, that is not news because it happens so often, but if a man bites a dog, that is news. In this sentence, there are multiple independent and dependent clauses working together. Here is the second example. We decided that the movie was too violent, but our children, who like to watch scary movies, thought that we were wrong. You can see that these sentences are longer and more complex because they combine elements from both compound and complex sentence types. Let us quickly recap everything we have learned. A simple sentence has one independent clause, with one subject and one verb. A compound sentence has two or more independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction like and, but, or so. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses connected by a subordinate conjunction like because, when, or where. And a compound complex sentence combines the features of both, with two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Remember, using a variety of sentence types in your writing makes it more engaging, more dynamic, and much more interesting to read. Thank you for watching, and keep practicing your sentences.